All right, we live. Okay, might be kind of loud, but yeah. So we gonna get into this. The crazy part is right now, um, this video is strictly gonna be focused on the women. You know, I'm not here to bash women. You know, I love the women. I'm married to a woman. I have mothers. I have a mother. I had a mother, aunts, grandma. Love my granny. But it's gonna break out this. When it come down to women complaining about the man, how we move, what are you gonna do about it? You know, because you want to get married, but you don't want to talk to men to find out why you're not married and why nobody wants to marry you. What are you gonna do about it when there's not enough black men from the talking points in which women say a lot of men go to jail, so they gotta divest, do other things to, get married. I say okay, but the biggest thing is what are you gonna do about it? We love black love. We always talking about power couples with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Well, what if your couple can't be powered? What if it's just regular? No, it's like turning on the switch in the marriage from off because you're not married to on that you're married, and that's it. Nothing else. What are you gonna do about it? To be honest, it's not enough men to go around in most cases because society is deeming us the bad guy. You know, we're getting shot at alarming rates. We're killing each other off at alarming rates to the point where, you know, all the stuff that women say are true. What are you guys gonna do about it? I mean, I'm sorry, be frank. What are you ladies gonna do about it? Because that means you have to get on your grind if you want kids. You know, by the time you in your 40s talking about you want to get married, these men in their 40s marrying 30 and 20 year olds. So are you just gonna go ahead and be bitter and bash, or are you gonna train up the next generation of women because uh I'm always pumping up Roger and the way he run his channel. He talks about different situations where, a lot of the women complaining about these, scenarios, but they're not coming to the table with, advice. And if they pretty much don't find a husband, what type of information or training are they giving to the next generation of, young women to say don't follow the same path? Because truth be told, there's a lot of women that want to get married, and a lot of women are starting to see that if I keep following the same path as my mother and grandmother, I'm gonna ultimately be just like them. So, you know, what are you ladies gonna do? Are you gonna, change up? Start talking to men more about marriage. A lot of women get to the point where they waste their time dealing in relationships ultimately, because it's fun. You having sex, going on trips. This guy's, pretty much taking care of you. He's giving you everything you want. Make it to where you don't have to work and it's fun. You just living life. But 30 hit and you still not married and you guys are once again still having fun to the point it's one thing you can blame the man for, but you was along for the ride as well. So it's like, what are you gonna do? I'm really not here to bash women, like I said, but the whole thing is, if you want to get married, you got to implement some type of structure or plan in order to get married. Um, Pretty much, I was told within at least 2 years. I mean, within the first year, to me, I mean, to be honest, the first 6 months or the first, 2 months, if that, if you start to get serious with a person, you need to bring up marriage. You need to bring up kids. You need to bring up, plans for the future and income. You know, Even if you're not even talking about marriage, you know, see what the mindset of the person that you're dealing with and see what are his goals, you know, because when it boils down, if that man isn't on your playing field, you know, just like men, we I always say that about the men. If the women are not on your playing field, you got to go. You know, if she don't want to be understanding to the motion of not, being submissive, but same word, understanding, to the point where you want to argue all the time and you want to throw fits, having a brat mode mentality. You know, Nobody's dealing with that. What's going on? Sheep stay sleep. What's going on, Ryan Clark? Oh man, I seen you yesterday. I gotta grab your channel, man. I seen you down over there on Ricky Williams, man. I was trying to, screenshot the chat so I can go back and pull up your page. Yeah, man, I'm good on, getting on new channels and people I find on other people's channels, man, and following them and looking at their content as well. But like I said, the women can say what they want, but truth be told, women, you say all these talking points, but at the end of the day, if you're not married, you're just not married. You can run with the rhetoric all day of, men do this and men do that, but you still not married. That guy's in his 40s, maybe even 50s. He can go marry, a young chick. Still, guy can have, big belly, slim, you know, built, muscular. Either way it go, if his finances are, together, he's gonna get married anytime he wants. But the big question, like I always say, man, what are you gonna do about it? Because a lot of women always, try to push this narrative on as the men are not, stepping up to the plate or, not really choosing them. But the point is, you got to be in position to get chose. You know, a lot of these women, they take on these different little things from their mothers and stuff. Their mothers train them, I guess, so well, and being, a boss or whatever these whole terms, power couple. I mean, independent woman. And I always say that that's a funny thing. A man can't handle an independent woman. First of all, you're independent. Why do you need to be in a relationship? That uh, I'm not even gonna say the guy name, but he always say that words matter. But it's true. You know, you say you're an independent woman, a strong independent woman. If you're a strong independent woman, truth be told, man, like, why are you dealing with God? You independent, you strong, you can do it by yourself. You know, to the point, like I'm saying, as men, we move around a different way, and a lot of women don't take the time. I've heard a woman, she complained that men are not choosing her, and she was going to divest and go to another community. But when someone asked her, "Have you ever asked any of the guys why they don't choose you?" She said no. The whole point of it is just one simple little answer. Just ask why. That was the basis of the whole argument that shut her down. A lot of women, they don't take that simple, easy little step in saying why. You know, why you not married? Fix it. Why I'm not, in a situation to where like every other of my family members get married. Why? You know, why more of the boys get married than the girls nowadays? Because girls have adapted a different mentality. And the crazy part is, I have a daughter. I talk to my daughter, to an extent, and she's not looking at getting married at a younger age right now. She's 22. She's not even looking at getting married. And the wild's gonna creep up on her as well. And you know, am I to blame for that? Because her mom's married. Her mom, she's married. She's been married for 14 years. She see. I say, I do say that a lot of women don't get that formal training. They get the understanding of being being in a relationship by seeing the parents move around. They get that understanding and firsthand see how it is to be in a marriage to actually work with each other. But that whole training, from men as well to the women of being a husband and um, being a wife, it's not taught in most cases. We as men we're taught more to be husbands because we're always told to pay the bills and take care of the family. But when it boils down to it, what other things are we taught but to stand on principle? As a man, that's general. But for the women, man, it's got to go out there and get the training. As men, especially for myself, I've talked to older gentlemen. I put them in, my Rolodex to listen to them to get that motivation to, in the situation that to get that situation to where, I'm moving in a certain way because these older gentlemen have taught me how to, deal with women, deal with life. How many women actually, take the time out and deal with these older women that have been married for years and get an understanding of how this relationship thing works. Because it's one thing if you really want to get married, you'll take the time out and invest in it, the knowledge. When you're going to school, you want to be a doctor, study the body, study everything what it takes to become a doctor. Why not study what it takes to be married? A lot of women out here want to get married, but they're not doing the research. They're not going out here asking these older women, that been in relationships. And when it comes down to it, make sure you're looking to get the right advice. Because a lot of women have been married, they still in relationships, and some of them have broken up to the point where these women are, trying to run over these guys, you know, push, push them, make them be a pushover. And a man with no, I want to say testicular fortitude, man, it's something. You got to stand up and be the leader of the house, and to let a woman just run over you and handle you a certain way. I always say this that if a man allows a woman to do that, I'm all for it. That's you. Because if you never took the time and want to run your house a certain way, I can give you the advice, but it's up to you at the end of the day to follow. I mean, most of the guys are older, they get into a way, but know, not not being to a point where you're letting your wife, run over you, beat on you or something like that. I don't get it. And there's women that do that, and that man goes off and hurts you. know, I kind of take fault for you as well because you're in a situation to where you putting this man backing him to the wall to where he has no other option. You know, what woman wants to get beat up?
None of them. So, like I always say, you know, women are taught, I mean, boys are taught not to hit girls. But how many girls are taught not to hit boys? The situation won't even escalate if you don't put your hands on that man first. But because, you have laws and everything that pretty much back you in your corner, a lot of women, come with brute force thinking that it's easy. And that's the wrong mentality to have. I mean, just being upfront about it. It's the wrong mentality to have. A lot of, women they get to the point where they're in a state of mind that they can run stuff. I rule this, and I got him this way. How long do you think that relationship is gonna work? You know, and in most cases, when guys wake up, those women are in rude awakening. They're going through it. The younger generation is not dealing with this stuff like the older generation. We got social media, we got YouTube, of course, the Black Manosphere. We're moving in a way where we're telling these young guys, don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, you know. And I always talk about this space, man, for us to learn, to be on. And the women, they're here because some of these women want to get married, but the point of it is, these women want to get married. They got to actually sit down and listen, take heed, do research, and wanting to be married. Because at the same time, like I always say, man, I mean, I haven't got it all together. I've only been married for 14 years. I got more years to go before I can put in my time as a vet, you know, in a relationship. I mean, to be honest, this day and age, getting to 15 years is a big accomplishment because most people, they're dying out within the first 5 to 10 years. You know, I've known people that go out and get a $40,000 wedding, turn around 3 years later, get a divorce, and trying to find someone else to deal with. You're still paying off the first wedding. So, I mean, it's kind of rough. Yeah, it's crazy. And, you know, asking to the women, what are you gonna do about it? To be honest, it's not enough men to go around. We're what 51% of the men are not married with kids. Not I mean married with, not married and don't have kids. 51% that demographic. Check it out. And I forgot the numbers. I think it was around 36 or so men that are married with kids. You know, so you do the numbers. How many men out here really, I guess the term pumping and dumping, but the real term is just pumping because you can't dump nobody if you're not in a relationship. Shout out to Roger on that. You have to be in a relationship to get dumped. You get pumped. Most women get pumped all the time to the point where they actually wanted to have sex with the guy, but they were mad at the results because the guy didn't stay. And a lot of women got to own up to that. You know, I always talked about the lady with the tattoos, man. She wanted to have sex with a guy because he had tattoos. Now that would have been a pump and dump thing if he had sex with her and ghost her. You know, and I mean, every time I talk about it, it makes me laugh every time. She wanted to have sex with a guy because he had tattoos. Like I said, it's not a bash on women dealing with your behavior. Shout out to Gold Professor. He always speaks to the behavior. I look at it from that angle too. You know, if women want to get married, they got to change their behavior. Just plain and simple, man. Like I said, I'm trying to do more film, do more pods, really dealing with family on my YouTube. I'm gonna start doing more stuff for my kids. Then outside, I'm actually gonna start, actually gonna change a tire. Do my brake job. I got a tripod out. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brakes. You know, do a little small videos on my channel, man. I fixed the chair. I actually recorded it. I broke one of my chairs, so use some glue, some wood glue. Gorilla Glue is that the odds of that. But don't sit there and do a lot of videos and put them up. Just doing things with my hands, you know. And that's what the men got to get to, man. You know, uh, for you women, got to take note when it come down to it. Whatever you offering, you gotta ask the question, who's buying? You know, if you're in a situation to where you're trying to deal with men, you're trying to, be in a relationship to hopefully get married. What are you offering this guy? And what is he offering you? Because a lot of women, they want the most, but want to give the least. They don't work like it. As men, we have that title of take care of the family. We got that title of, you know, uh, if anything happens, it falls on our shoulders. Women, you know, you want to run that relationship, but when it comes down to it, it's a funny situation when it comes down and a bill needs to get paid, and you look at the man, he don't have it. It's a funny situation when you want to run the relationship, but when something happens, first thing you do is go to the man and say, "What are we gonna do? What happened to the boss? What happened to the person that wants to leave? You know, and I think I'm gonna do this experiment with my wife. So probably gonna take my paycheck, give all my money to her for a month, let her pay the bills, which is simple. And then I'm gonna put the pressure on her because I know the tires might be actually need to be done. So she's gonna have to come up with the money for the tires. You know, I know I need the lineman and some work done on my car. Either she gonna have to do it or she gonna have to pay for it. And it's gonna be a stress test. Just to see how she cope with all that because you know she doesn't really come off as wanting to do that, but she do at times want to run things, be in position. But she ultimately she knows it's a lot of work. You know, Even with me handling the bills and shuffling money, just adding a tutor right now for my kids. It's gonna be more like a stress test. So just gonna throw it out there and see how she's under that. Yeah, man. Go ahead and sign off right here. But at the end of the day, women, what are you gonna do about it?